Okay, if everyone could gather again, I am super honored to be here with Aya Miyaguchi and to talk about how the current focus of Ethereum is very intertwined with our goals at Web3 Privacy. So if you could please be quiet very soon. Okay, so we'll get started. I'm Beth McCarthy, Program Director at Web3 Privacy, and
I am Miyaguchi from the Ethereum Foundation.
So we've heard a lot this morning about how Ethereum was born in the cypherpunk movement, where privacy and transparency were seen as being complementary. How do you remember those early conversations about freedom and privacy?
Yeah, so I guess maybe I can start with the earlier day of my involvement in the, sorry, I can.
Second, because I'm having so much trouble hearing you.
Hearing?
If everyone could please quiet down a little bit, because it is hard for us to hear each other. Okay.
It's people's voice or AC sound too, so.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Anyways.
Maybe going back to
Yeah, so speaking about how privacy and freedom were part of early conversations at the Ethereum Foundation.
Yeah, so maybe before the Ethereum Foundation, actually, when I joined this industry, crypto industry, I don't know, can you hear me? It's hard for you to hear. Okay. Hope you can hear. So when I joined the industry, actually, I was surrounded by lots of cypherpunks. So my earliest day of the industry started at Kraken, at the earliest time of Kraken. And it's probably very different now. But we were using only like in-house tools for most of the thing, like internal chat, or only open source tools such as Thunderbird for email and encryption. So the privacy was not just add-on, it was the culture. And then that's also when I met Vitalik and Ethereum. When I first met him, he was working at our office. He was actually working on the white paper of Ethereum. And then I also met other earlier time of like Ethereum crews. And then later I just decided to support Ethereum and the Ethereum Foundation because among all the people and groups that I met, they were the only group that I felt genuinely trying to make the world better, but also with very optimistic, positive spirit. And when I actually joined EF, what I was surprised was everything was very open, how people were having conversations or how ideas were discussed. And I felt that it was very different from the culture that I was in before. But then eventually, the privacy in Ethereum has evolved. It wasn't as visible in the beginning and it has evolved into something even more stronger, meaning the privacy is not just about hiding everything. It's not all black and white. You can basically program your own privacy into like what to protect, what to reveal. And I think that's the power of optimists in Ethereum.
Definitely, like a culture around openness is able to be cultivated through building for privacy. So thinking about that in practice, how your influence has been on Ethereum's culture, practices, and value, and as you were the one who set the infinite garden as being our ecosystem's philosophy, what does that mean to you in terms of how you guide with the practice of subtraction, and how is that principle related to privacy?
I like a dog is walking along. So, yes. When I introduced this idea of infinite garden, it's a metaphor to describe how the Ethereum community grows. Participation is permissionless. We don't use pesticides, no top-down control. And it's just like a natural ecosystem. Things grow with biodiversity, like the ideas grow. And we're all playing an infinite game of Ethereum together. And for the game to stay infinite, we can rely on central power. And subtraction comes in there. So basically, even EF can sometimes has to step back and then create space for others. And when we create space for others, just like this event, like other things grow. And it's not about doing less. It is really about eliminating damage, potential damage that could harm soils of Infinite Garden with those values. And recently, earlier this year, when everyone from the Ethereum Foundation got together, I introduced this idea of crops to represent these values that are very important to Ethereum, but also what are making the Ethereum. To make it easier for people to remember, Infinite Garden is for growing crops. And then we believe Ethereum is growing and it needs to grow, but the growth is meaningless if we compromise these values. So that's how now people are using crops, censorship resistance, open source, and privacy and security. And then privacy is very, very important component of this.
And we talked about some really relevant examples of that in practice, including in the historical context here in Argentina. So how do you see this principle playing out in action here?
Yeah, so maybe before Argentina is very exciting and also interesting place to talk about privacy. But before that, in general, I think some parts of the world think privacy is something scary or something also only for specific people need. But I think privacy is actually very basic for our life. And using one example is you're living in a house, and if you're naked in your house, and then there's a window with no curtain, and what you can do or you would do in front of the window would be limited. I mean, unless actually maybe it wouldn't be limited for some people, but normally it would be limited. And then, and that limits like your freedom, right? What you can do. And every single house has curtain. That's like a basic thing. That's the privacy. The curtain is the privacy tool. And then that's how we are living our life. But then on the internet, it is like that. We are actually exposed that level, but a lot of people don't realize this. And the reason why we don't really realize this, it's almost like if the window is magic mirror, and then you think it's a mirror, and then from outside, they can see you, right? And that's how we're actually living in the internet, how much people don't know we are seen. And in Argentina, historically, like information has been the power to either control you or protect you, right? And in the history, there were times humans, information was against human, and then people were erased here in Argentina. Or information was also used to prove the justice. So this is probably one of the reasons why talking about privacy is interesting here. Yeah, so basically, like, information is very powerful, and whoever who holds the information has more power, regardless of whose information is that. Yeah.
Definitely, and yeah, designing for privacy, understanding situations in which you are able to, interact in a way that's secure, or when you're exposed, is so critical for experiencing freedom and experiencing security. Yeah, I guess just thinking about some of the other things that we were thinking about in that context. With this positive lens on privacy in mind, it's been really excited to see what Ethereum's current focus has been, what the commitment to privacy means, and to work together towards some of these goals with you guys through Web3 Privacy. Can you share a bit about this and what some of the use cases and applications are that you're excited to see emerging?
Yeah. So maybe I can show that this year you might have seen how EF, just like showing the clubs, how EF is committed to privacy and stewarding that value of privacy even stronger. And this, okay, maybe this is on high level. You also heard about Kohaku previously when Nico and Vitalik were talking about Kohaku, but also the other activities actually beyond this. I will share the slides later. There's some PSC team. Now they're actually acronym PSC stands for Privacy Stewards of Ethereum. And so they're doing all these work. Some of them were working with different teams in the Ethereum Foundation and other teams. But, you know, like these are, it's not completed just by EF. It's impossible. And then this is already almost too much for a PST to do everything. So we need people's participation. If you're interested in any of this or maybe even more, you can talk to, I think there are members from PSC at this event too. You can communicate with them. And then I think this maybe previous slide shows this ZKID is something that's, I think it's, you know, I'm also pretty excited. And I was in Bhutan the other day to celebrate Bhutan's national ID is now built on Ethereum, which is the first country on the national level. And so ZKID, that space and also technology is still being involved. And then a lot of people in the Ethereum Foundation, but also others were working together on this. So I'd like to see more of the privacy component too. And then now I think some of us and then others are advocating to, for example, EUDI, which is like EU version of ID system that are trying to rebuild. So that is exciting speaking. And then I think these are events that are happening this week by the team PSC, but also I think you guys are working together for some of the events.
Privacy Stack.
Yes, yeah. And then maybe one fun thing to add is it's like some fun artwork that I personally was a little bit involved. Is it's an art that express the world of infinite garden with also programmable cryptography. It's like 3 videos are interacting with each other without revealing the original footage, and that's put it into that art is a community artist worked on this, and it's actually presented at the Art Science Museum in Singapore now for actually a few months. That's pretty
cool. And our last thing to share.
Yes. So that's it, I guess. Yeah, you can see that. Yeah, so that you can learn more about their commitment to privacy and also the roadmap of privacy that PSC put together.
So if you want to read deeper into those slides with small writing and double click, then I hope that you will check those out. We would love to see you guys at some of the events that are happening through this week. I know that a lot of folks from Ethereum PSC are also here. And how can people get in touch with you if they want to keep talking about these things?
Yeah, they can get in touch with the PSC team. I think you can find out about them from this. Yeah, and then also go to these events this week, and then you get to meet those
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We are
Thank
so
you.
excited about building the future of privacy into next year. So
Thank you.